Alright.
Alright. And we're here on this
Alright. Hello.
Alright. And we're here on
Alright. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Mel.
Morning,
Good
Mel.
morning. And
Rich. Morning, everyone.
yes, so we're talking to Melanie Tengo. She's a health advocate, lover of nature, everything natural,
Building biologist.
building biologist, CMR, electromagnetic
Certified
radiation.
CMR.
But this morning we're talking to Mel about creating a healthy environment indoors. Kasi there are a lot of things, diba, that we can do to improve the healthiness of our home.
So, ang role ni Mel ngayon is building biologist.
Yeah, can you tell us, Mel, can you introduce yourself and maybe what is this building biology all about?
Okay, so just to give everybody an idea of what building biology is actually the study of the impact of the built environment on the inhabitants or on the humans and our health. So it actually borrows from many different bodies such as architecture, ecology, medicine, chemistry, lahat ng klaseng engineering. So pinagsama-sama niya ito so that we as building biologists can can design a healthy or healthful space. So whether it's a home, it's a school, it's your workplace, a public space, we are able to help design it so that it's healthful. Yun. So, actually, the history of this is, quick lang. So, after the war, sa Germany to nag-umpisa. So, they had to build a lot of homes right away. And because of that, they had to employ different technologies and also use synthetic materials. So, that was when they started introducing new things. So, after a while, when people moved in, they started getting sick. And that is when the term sick building syndrome actually was coined. So it is when where you are, whether it's an office or a home, is the cause of your illness. So it's an environmental illness. So dun siya nag-umpisa. Yan.
Okay, that's good. So, for the people watching on the live stream or even after when this go live, just enter your question in the comment section and we'll try to answer them during this live stream or even afterwards. So, Mel, so how do we start with building biology?
So let's start. Let's narrow it because the scope is quite broad. Let's narrow it to the the indoor environment. Okay, so the EPA says that the indoor environment is actually 2 to 5 times more toxic than the outdoor environment. Diba? It's something we don't really think about. We think pag nasa loob tayo, safe ka. But
How
actually,
is that possible?
maraming factors nagko-cause kung bakit mas toxic indoors than outdoors. We'll get to that later. So,
Okay.
and then, sadly also, it is something we have to take a look at because we spend approximately 90%. This is pre-lockdown. 90% of our time is spent indoors. So, but from home, we go to work or to school and then go back home. So, very little time is spent outdoors by the average person. And now, in this situation, for most of us, it's 100% of the time. So, it is it's a very important topic to talk about today. So, sige, let's talk about
Yeah.
why
Oo.
naman it's toxic. So,
Why is it toxic? Akala ko, we're all staying at home and it's safer than going outside, diba?
well, for one, how how our homes or our condos are built, how the structure is really built. Because we, building biologists, we look at building physics, so how the air flows, things like that. Ngayon, the newer buildings are even, proud to say that they're airtight, diba? They don't allow air from outside to come in and vice versa. But actually, for in building biology, that's not a good thing. So that's one, building physics. Number two, it's the building materials. So if you look around you, we're not just talking about like the paint that you used, or the if you have gypsum board or the wood that you use, even the furniture that we have in the home. So the materials that the furniture are made of, yun yung nagkakos din ng toxin, buildup of toxins because they off gas or they release gas throughout their lifetime. So, and then number three, we have what we talked about last week, the EMFs. So if you are inside, we have many sources of EMFs as we already talked about them. So our gadgets, our Wi-Fi, etc. And then the last would be the things that we bring inside. So the chemicals that we bring inside, the dirt and the dust that we bring inside our living spaces. So those are the four like general categories of the toxins that we find in our home. So, but then our bodies, we always say, or we always hear that our bodies are smart, it can heal itself, and that's true. And it has a built-in mechanism where we are able to detoxify from these elements. It's just that sometimes when the rate of us absorbing all of these toxins are faster than the rate we're able to excrete it, doon nagkaka-build up. So that's what you call body burden, or so yun, yung body burden natin, it becomes too much that that it breaks, the system breaks.
So na-measure mo ba yan? Na-measure mo ba yan? O wala? Kasi it's all invisible, di ba?
Yeah, we have machines that can measure volatile organic compounds, how much positive ions there are indoors, and things like that. So meron siya because we are equipped with the gear to do all that, and even mold, for example, there are tests for what type of mold and if there's mold present, and on.
Okay.
So it comes with age then. Kunyari, the older you are, the harder, or the longer you take time to release those toxins, right?
So I think what you're saying is parang we accumulate, diba? Bioaccumulation of all the toxins, yes. And unfortunately, yung mga bodies of yung nagre-regulate ng mga chemicals, they only test the chemicals alone. They don't really test like the relation, or the effect of multiple chemicals present in your body, or in one bottle, for example, of something, right? So that the effect of that is really massive. So
how do we reduce that? Or can we isa-isahin ba natin, and then how do we reduce that?
yeah, let's take a step back and let's talk about like the different the different ways we get toxins in our body. So number one, when we inhale it. Number two, when we ingest it. So in the food that we have, in the medicines. Number three is when we inject it in our bodies. And number four, when we absorb it through our skin. So for the purpose of today's conversation, let's look at just the toxins in the home that we inhale. So vapors, yun muna, because ang dami nito eh. But I promise after this you will be happy that you listen, because we will be presenting very practical tips on how to make your indoor environment healthier.
Ready na notebook ko.
Ready na? Mga ba to? Okay. So anyway, let's just talk about these toxins that we inhale. So number one will be particulates. So meaning yung mga fine particles. So that would be dust. That would also be, for example, smoke. That would be, so where do we find it? If somebody's smoking in the home, or if you have a carpet, for example, doon nag-accumulate. So yung mga stuffed toys, di ba? There's a lot of dust.
Marami kami yan.
Curtains, in books, and everything that we have. So it accumulates dust. So dust just comes from the air, yung lahat ng mga nagde-degrade and whatever, di ba? Lahat yon. So nagko-collect inside the home. So number two naman, yung biological pollutants. So ito yung mga pollen, for example, or dander ng pets. Diba? So, na-affect din tayo niyan. Mga pieces or mga parts ng mga ipis, ganyan, di ba? These are also toxins, and then it also irritates our respiratory system. So even like the pee ng rodents, dust mites, and also mold. At tayo sa Pilipinas, di ba yung amag parang wala lang, part of the family, it's alive. But actually, it's a very toxic allergen, and it's very toxic. So it's actually called the neurotoxin, meaning it hits us dun sa brain, and
Pero hindi ba konti lang.
ano yun?
Konti lang.
Ang alin?
Yung mga toxins. Ipis.
Konti lang toxins?
Oh. Hindi ba
Yes.
mali?
Sige, we'll go back. So yung yun yung mga biological pollutants. So and then the last category would be the VOCs, or the volatile organic compounds. So ito yung mga fumes ng mga maraming bagay. So an example, personal care products, mga nilalagay natin sa katawan, syempre may naaamoy tayo. So it has toxic elements also. Cleaning products, so simple things like laundry soap, and then my favorite fabric conditioner, also disinfecting chemicals. Yun yung mga cleaning products. And then also insecticides, parang that's common in the Filipino household, diba? Even mga mothballs, so these are the things that may inaamoy. But a lot of the toxins actually hindi rin natin naaamoy. So it's good to know what the sources are. So like I said earlier, also furniture, it has synthetic fabric, it has foam, it has, we have particle boards, the glues, mga adhesive, fire retardants, all of these chemicals that are in the things we have at home, slowly yan pumupunta sa air.
Okay.
Yeah, and then some candles also, air fresheners. Yun yung mga things na hindi natin naiisip Tapos
So, paano-
also mga art supplies. So it's I think step 1 is to know what the sources are. So now that we know, let's go to step 2. And I'll be giving tips since we're all on lockdown. We'll just focus on what we can do given the limitations of the situation we're in right now. So number 1, let's not bring in more of these inside. So in our home, at the door, I have leave your shoes and worries at the door. So no shoes talaga kami inside, and that is already a big help, because with the shoes, ang daming nakadikit. You have grime, you have heavy metals, and we don't really know where those people went, or we went, and then everything's just gathered under the soles, and you don't want that inside the house. First of all, syempre you have pets. If you have pets or you have young children, and then sometimes also we walk barefoot, so dumidikit siya, and then we take it all over. So another thing we're careful not to bring in the home. For example, we spent the day outside. As soon as we get home, we change and then take a shower. So all the toxins that were absorbed in your clothes or that stuck to your clothes will not be. You don't anymore like parang spread it all over the house, diba? And then so the chemicals that we talked about, wag nyo nang dalhin sa bahay. So let's just find non-toxic equivalents of the things that we need at home. So number 2, ventilate. This is something that a lot of people also overlook, is ventilate your whole house. Even if you live in the city, and even if you think that it's so polluted outside, it's important to flush the air every day, so that all the toxic air goes out and you have fresh air inside. So it's very simple, pero malaking effect yon. So sa amin naman, because we don't live in a polluted place, I made sure that we built windows that will permanently be open. So small windows in front, and then I have some other windows in the rest of the house na palaging naka-open. So we also have to think like when we ventilate, it's not just opening one door. We have to think of how the air will flow. So dapat nagko-cross siya. Because if you open, let's say, a door on this side and then a window on the same side, parang hindi rin papasok yung air kasi wala siyang lalabasan. So dapat may in and out. So that mas efficient yung pag-flush ng air. Yun. So another way to ventilate is when you're cooking.
Paano yung in and out?
Cross vent dapat. So for example, in a room, may window ka on one side and then your door is on the other side. Yun, tama yun. Pero kunyari nasa same side siya, para wala siyang effect.
Okay.
Slow lang nalalabas yung hangin pero hindi siya mafa-flush completely.
So, maglalagay ba tayo ng maraming
Hindi ba?
electric?
Buksan mo lang siya.
Yung bahay mo, parang wala, hindi mo, nandyan na yan eh, di ba? So,
Yes.
if right now, we're going to improve our home, what do we do? Electric fan siguro para
Pwede. Yeah, definitely fans will help, especially sa number 2 na mention ko, sa bathrooms or anywhere that's damp. Kasi you need to dry up, reduce the humidity. So for example, after tayo maligo, so what's wrong with having a damp space or a damp surface? That's where mold builds up, especially if the surface is has cellulose or has wood or paper. And not a lot of us know that gypsum, yun yung common material na ginagamit sa ceiling and sa mga walls. Yun may paper yun eh. So pag nabasa yun, tapos humid yung environment niya, dun magbe-breed yung mold. Hindi mo na matatanggal. So, and then the mold will secrete mycotoxins, and that's what we don't want to inhale.
Okay.
So you're right. Sorry.
Okay ba yan? Add indoor plants inside the house.
Yes, it's a good comment. Indoor plants actually help. It's just that we have to be mindful that the soil also carries humidity, diba? So, wag yung masyadong basa. And I advise not to put plants inside the bedroom. If you want, in the living room, in other common areas, but not in the sleeping areas. Yeah, because of the added humidity, and it also has a mold and other bacteria you may find in the soil. Yeah.
Okay.
So going back, apart from the toilets that we need to ventilate, sa kitchen then when we are cooking. So not all homes will have proper exhaust systems. Some, if you look up above the exhaust, it's just a cabinet. So that means that the air is just recirculating. Hindi talaga siya na-exhaust out. So in that case, we have to make sure that every time we cook, we open the windows. Kasi ano ba yung mga toxins when we're cooking? First is let's say you're using gas, LPG. So fumes from the gas and also fumes from uncombusted gas are toxins. And then when you're cooking, the oil, diba, yung mga whatever is in the pan is also creating toxins that we breathe in. And apart from that, the cookware also, if you're using cookware that's not exactly the best, for example, it has a non-stick surface, yon. So lahat yun mag-create ng chemicals that are toxic. So we have to make sure that the kitchen is well ventilated while cooking. And also in the kitchen, under the sink, but usually when you wash your dishes, may tumutulo, tapos wooden yung cabinet. Diba pag buksan mo yung iba talaga yung amoy niya. Yeah, so make sure na well ventilated. Ang ginawa namin sa kitchen namin, pag binuksan mo, actually wala talaga siyang kaha inside, tas tiles na. So we avoid rotting wood underneath the sink. Yeah.
Okay.
Yun. So, okay, and another simple way also to ventilate is when we wake up, normally we make our beds, balik mo yung cover. But actually, the best thing to do is to air everything out. So you can just fold your blanket towards the foot of the bed and then let your bed and your pillow air out. Because when we're sleeping, we excrete sweat. And of course, sweat is also moisture. And when you have moisture, like I said, then nagbe-build up yung bacteria and yung mold. So it's important that make it a habit to not do your bed. Do it a
Paano?
different way.
Oo, paano ulit? So,
Imbis na tinatakpan natin, di ba? Tapos tatakpan mo yung kama mo kasi yung ng kumot, pati hanggang yung pillow tinatakpan. Actually, you fluff your pillow and then leave your bed open. So, mag-evaporate yung sweat.
Ipa-araw mo yung
Yun.
yung pillow mo.
Tama. Yun yung isang i-mention ko mamaya nga eh. So, sige, let's get to that. So, the third, we had don't bring the toxins inside. Number 2, ventilate. And then number 3 is proper cleaning. So how do we clean things properly? Like what Rach said, the simplest and the best is really to leave things under the sun. So pillows, blankets, rugs, and if you can carry your mattress out, that would be the best way to kill all the bacteria by exposing to the natural UV light. And then another way also is tayo sanay magwalis. Kami hindi nagwawalis kasi pag nagwawalis ka, disperse lang sa air lahat ng mga...
Dyson.
So, apart from having a good vacuum, you still need to mop, di ba? So, wet mop, pero hindi yung mop na parang mop head kasi mahirap linisin yun eh. May mga magagandang mop, yung flat, yung fabric, kasi after every
Yung
use...
makaluma ba? Yung makaluma ba yun? Sinasabi mo?
Hindi, baka bago. Ayoko hindi yung old style nga na parang mop head. So marami ngayon yung flat. So you have the flat fabric, di ba? Tapos,
Alam ko na. Okay.
kasi yun, basahan lang yun na madaling labhan, madaling patuyuin. Unlike the mop head, tatamarin ka tapos by the time you need it, basa pa rin siya. So nag-multiply na lahat ng bacteria. So, and then when you mop, wet mop, don't use toxic chemicals. Like for us, we just mix some white vinegar with some essential oils and that's it. So matagal na talaga kaming hindi bumibili ng any cleaning chemicals. So that's all you need. You don't even need oil. It's just water and vinegar. If you don't have the oil, pwede na yun. Yun. So very simple. Ha?
Hindi.
Okay, so ano pa ang kailangan nating linisin at linisin na maayos? Yung mga aircon natin.
Yes.
Firstly,
Paano
yung filter, hindi lang filter kailangan linisan, kailangan i-deep clean talaga siya. Minimum yan twice a year. Kasi inside, syempre may condensation. So because again, there's water inside, there's condensation, nagiging breeding ground siya for bacteria and for mold. So it has to be cleaned professionally. So it's not just vacuuming the unit inside and out. It's really spraying with a high pressure washer para ma-flush out lahat ng mga build-up sa loob. So that's how it has to be done. Yun. So at least twice a year. And then the filter, as often as you can, more than once a month, sana. Yun. So that's aircon cleaning. And then if you come across mold at home, so yun nga yung sinabi ko na sa mga surfaces, let's say walls, as gusto mong linisan, wag natin gamitin ng toxic chemicals because that will make the mold excrete mycotoxins, which is even more toxic. No, so let's just use simple soap and water. Yun lang, and then that should help. Don't use any aggressive like chemicals on any of the surfaces with mold.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so actually, yun lang kasi parang marami na tayong kailangan isipin when it.
Let's say yung mga towels, the bedding, how often ba dapat chine-change yan or pwedeng hindi na chine-change?
For 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 beddings, at least once a week. I would think at least once a week. And then yung mga towels like maximum, lalo na kung tag-ulan.
Mhm.
Oo, twice. I mean, after twice mo lang siya gamitin, ano mo na, labhan mo na siya. Pero if you are able to dry it properly under the sun and hindi siya yung nakukulob inside your bathroom, then you can use it a little bit more. But yeah, make sure nga it's not left hanging na damp. Yun. So, yun yung mga tips. And then, now that, with this virus going around, we've all been extra cautious, diba?
Oo.
So,
Ano mga ginagawa?
palagi tayong naka-alcohol, palagi tayong nagdi-disinfect, and then there's some new technologies that are being used by people now, like the UV light. So I would warn against using a lot of the alcohol, or don't use it. You shouldn't use it unnecessarily talaga kasi na-absorb siya. So hindi mo lang siya naaamoy, na-absorb through the skin, and then it affects also your kidneys. So use it sparingly. I would still recommend soap and water over disinfectants or hand sanitizers. And also, the idea there din kasi is anytime you disinfect something, para siyang antibiotic. You also kill the good bacteria. So you disrupt the balance of things on your skin and in your gut. So we have to be mindful of that. So in the same way, avoid also using the harsh chemicals for cleaning, because that is also an effect that we don't want, where everything is super sanitized naman, na hindi rin siya maganda para sa atin.
Ang hydrogen peroxide ba is harsh?
There's a what do you call this? The proper solution that you can use. And again, even if these are safe to use, I would advise that you leave your window open para ventilated siya, hindi siya nasa-stuck, hindi mo rin na-inhale. So, yun nga, hindi porket sabihin natin natural is safe na, di ba? Like there are a lot of oils, for example. Something natural in its natural state. For example, when we say an orange, pag kinain mo, safe yan. Pero like the orange oil, which is concentrated, will also have volatile organic compounds and can be too harsh for our skin and also for our other organs. So we have to make sure that we use it properly and check, with manufacturers, the safe use of these oils. So, and then going back so ang UV light na ginagamit ng marami ngayon, 'di ba, to disinfect.
Yeah.
So that one, actually how that works is it produces ozone, and it's ozone that attaches to the anaerobic bacteria and kills it. So that is totally fine. In fact, it's been very useful for me also now. Every time we bring in something, we buy something from outside, we leave it in a small room, tapos dun namin siya ni UV, or in the car. So it's the simplest, but just to be careful not to inhale the gas. So after you ozonate something and then you smell parang chlorine, so that's the ozone. You're not supposed to be inhaling that because it's highly corrosive. So meaning it can affect your lungs, it can affect the surface of your skin, or anything it comes in contact with, even materials, let's say you're doing it inside your car. So yung leather mo, yung mga vinyl surface, lahat yun nagbo-break down because of the ozone. So just use it sparingly. Use it, only when you need it. So, yun yung mga new things na lumabas ngayon. And also the masks. Some masks also have volatile organic compounds, and then it's right in our faces. And then again, there's moisture because you're breathing. It becomes damp and becomes a breeding ground for bacteria. So yun lang, just be mindful of how often you use it, how long you use it, how you disinfect it, etc.
So, paano pag mask? Anong...
Um, may iba-iba kasi, 'di ba? Like ako personally, I have a friend who made fabric or organic cotton masks, and then ini-insert namin ng sheet ng ano ng
Wipes.
N95. Oo. So depends on where we go or what we're doing. Doon ilalagyan ko ba or hindi, pwedeng yun lang. And then after every use, it's washed. Yun. Simple lang. Just wash it with, soap, and then hanging it under the sun for a while. Okay na yun. Simple.
Nice. Okay.
So there, may questions kaya?
Meron sa cookware.
Okay. So anong healthy cookware?
Ano yung cookware na ma-recommend mo? Alam ko cast iron, pero yung medyo affordable din.
Palayok, actually. Yan ang ginagamit namin for rice. So, palayok is good. Yun yung mga traditional palayok, no? Hindi yan yung mga glazed with lead na glazing from other countries. And then, good quality stainless steel
Stainless.
and glass. And merong mga ceramic coated ngayon. So, ang hindi talaga okay is yung commonly nakikita natin yung aside from the non-stick, yung aluminum. Hindi ba yun yung type? Oo. And lalo na when we cook something acidic in these aluminum cookware, nare-release yung aluminum and then we ingest it. And
Ano na ang leche flan?
yun. Minsan-minsan lang naman. Pero yung mga
Yung silicone. Di ba ngayon yung silicone, yung plastic?
I have may mga concerns lang po sa silicone. So, ginagamit ko lang siya. Hindi ko siya talaga, I don't cook with it. Andun pa rin ako sa, just to avoid, because knowing what it's made of and how it breaks down, it can still leach into the food. Yun. So yung mga iba na, di ba, nahihilig sa pagsusuvide, di ba, ginagamit nila yung plastic.
Plastic.
Oo.
Maski food grade no?
Oo, I would still be, a little cautious about anything like that. Kasi syempre, lalagay mo sa heat, for
Yeah.
sure, nag-leach yun. Oo. So,
How would you know na na yung health condition mo is caused by the toxin? Or mararamdaman mo ba yan? Or are there common sickness or symptoms?
it's becoming more and more difficult for us now to identify if the cause is something from the home. But then it's also not considered then by a lot of the medical practitioners na, baka naman it's something that you're exposed to. But then again, okay, if it's something, if the symptom is not consistently there, kunyari seasonal siya, or pag weekend lang siya, meaning nasa bahay ka most of the time, kaya nararamdaman mo. Or if you are, when you go on vacation, you don't feel it, then it means that it could be in your house. So those are the things that we just have to take a look at to help us assess whether it is indeed caused by something from your home or from your workplace. So if you feel better at home during the weekends, but you feel all of these symptoms during the week, then it could be something from your office. So just those basic things. But the assumption is, of course, healthy ka overall, Then it will be easier for you to figure out nga if it's the environment that you're in. Yun.
Okay. And do you mix it ba with feng shui, yung building biology?
Building biology. In building biology itself, wala as a science, but I think slowly recognize that there are other things that we need to take a look at, because we also know that there are yung mga ley lines, yung mga points, mga energy, or yung sa earth, tapos dun din nakikita yung kung saan may water. Merong mga ibang mga things like that that's related, and some aspects of feng shui actually is recognized that the direction kasi nga, but they don't, it's not, di ko siya ma-explain kasi some aspects of feng shui is cosmic, 'di ba? May mga ganyan. Ito for building biology, they limit it to the balance of things. Yeah, which feng shui also revolves around, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
may tanong si Janice.
Okay. Having known all of these toxins, what's the basic advice? Well, now that we know, you know, first of all, let's not be overwhelmed. First step is to know what they are, what the sources are, and then slowly eliminate. You don't have to wait for lockdown to be over. What's good is, now that you know, you start na and start not bringing more toxins into the home. So just do it slowly, as with everything. Start with what you have and with what's in front of you.
Okay. Questions. So yung related to the post-COVID world or to mga coronavirus, aside from mask, are there any things na any other things that you do? So mask, UV, you mentioned UV.
That's
Why-
related to
Yung
the
Wi-Fi, for example, Wi-Fi, can you just, I know we've discussed that in the last episode, but for people watching this, what's the general advice for Wi-Fi?
For Wi-Fi and gadgets that emit electromagnetic radiation, the best thing we can do is shut everything off before going to bed at night, because this is the time when we are really supposed to be regenerating and resting, and so we have none of our defenses are up. So, and it is when we are most vulnerable. So we are talking about your phone, putting it on airplane mode, even your laptops, shutting it down completely or putting it on airplane mode. We have the habit of just leaving it running, or even if we don't need the Bluetooth function, it's on. So if you don't need the specific function, shut it down. And there, just shut everything off before going to bed. That is the most important, because there are other things you can do, but it's just too complicated. But if you want to start, that's where you start.
Okay. So may question. Wala na. So how can people contact you, Mel? Where do they, or can they?
How they can
Yeah, they can just send me a message on Messenger or on Instagram. That's the best way
What's your
to
Instagram?
get.
What's your Instagram? Can you share your Instagram?
Yes, sure.
What's the Instagram? Ulit.
Sorry, Melanie Tigo. Yeah,
Okay. And in Facebook.
I think it's just Melanie Tango. Also.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mel. We really learned a lot, and I think we'll implement it. Any last message for people trying to create
Um,
this healthy indoor?
Well, thank you, Anton and Rach, for giving me an opportunity to share this. I think it's very important, especially during this time. And to those who are listening, I know it may seem overwhelming, but like I said earlier, just do what you can, and I take it a day at a time, because it can be overwhelming. And also keep asking questions, read labels. We're very lucky to be living in a time where all the information is at our fingertips. It's so easy to research and to reach out to people who can help us. So do that. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And stay tuned. Let's do another one and another topic. One of the days.
Sure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And we're here. Thank you for